Okay, back out there at the shooting range with the Remington 700 BDL 7 mag. And I said in the last video or two ago that I had never bought a factory box of ammo for this, which is in fact true. I have not. However, I was pilfering through some of my stuff the other night, and I had forgotten that my dad, probably, I want to say 10, 15 years ago, somewhere along in those along in there, bought several boxes of Remington Core-Lokts. They are 150 grain Remington Core-Lokt 7mm Remington Magnum for this gun, and we had vacuum sealed these things, several boxes of this stuff a long time ago. So I'm kind of on like a regular bullet kick, I guess, because I have not shot a single long-range bullet hardly out of this gun for a while. And truthfully, it's been fun, man. It's been shooting. So we're going to check out some of these Remington Core-Lokts. I'll be honest with you, we never killed a deer with these things. We never shot them. He bought let's see, 5 or 6 boxes of them, I think, something like that. And we just vacuum sealed them, put them away for a rainy day, type deal. And so here we go. I'm gonna check them out. I ran out of or didn't really run out, but ran out of hand loads. Don't have anything else loaded up for this thing, and I was getting ready to load some more. And I was pilfering through my stuff, and I'm like, man, forget that. Let's just shoot some of this stuff, So this is obviously running a little bit quicker than last time we were out here. I was shooting a 175 hand load, just a regular old Spear Grand Slam. That's what those were. At like 2650, 2700 feet a second, pretty light load. So these are full tilt factory loads, 150 grain, so I'm assuming they're probably moving somewhere in the neighborhood of 2900, 3000 feet a second. So a little bit quicker, a little lighter bullet. We do have a wind today. Wind is, it's at our back, blowing down the range away from us, so that's going to be kind of nice. We've got probably like 7 or 8 mile an hour consistent winds, gusts up to maybe like 11, 12 mile an hour, something like that. So we have targets set up at 100, 200, 300, and 400, then 600. We're going to see if this bullet kind of falls apart out there maybe. Like those last regular, Spear Grand Slam bullets did. They group pretty good, 200 yards, plenty acceptable at 3, even 400 yards to kill a deer with. But they're definitely not what I would consider to be a long-range type bullet or something that you'd want to shoot something a long ways away with. So we're going to see what the old Remington Core-Lokts will do. Man, killed a pile of deer in 30-06 with Remington Core-Lokts when I was a kid growing up, 30-30s. Man, that was the old standby. We stacked a lot of deer years ago with these rounds, just not 7mm. So, I don't know that we'll kill a deer with them this year or anything, but we're going to shoot them and see how they do out of the old gun. This is I don't know how old this gun is. It says 1969 on the bolt. The stock doesn't look like a 1969 model of this gun, but it's old. It's pretty old. It's definitely probably predates me. I'd say I'm an 83 model, and I'd say it's around my age or older. I don't know. Anyway, I never looked up serial number, nothing. Dad always thought it was somewhere in the late 60s or 70s, something like that. So we're shooting an older rifle, and man, we shoot it. We've shot the fire out of this thing. I don't know how many rounds are down this gun, but it had definitely been shot when my grandfather acquired it back in the 90s, and since then I can think of I believe that Spear Grand Slam was a case of 500 or 1,000. I'm not sure, and I've only got a few of those left. And then other untold boxes of Sierra Match Kings out of this thing. So plus boxes of factory ammo. So I don't know. Everybody says, a 7 mag will burn a barrel up 1,500 rounds. I guess if you're bed rest shooting, maybe so. I don't know. This gun's still, I don't know. We'll see. We're going to shoot it. We'll see what it does with these factory loads, I don't know. Shot hand loads out of it for the last 10, 15 years. We're going to shoot some factory ammo out of it now. So kind of looking forward to it. Here we go. All right, here we go. We are going to just check and see if we're on paper at 100 since we're switching loads. So we're going to put one round on at 100. Probably maybe shoot a 3-shot group at 200 and 300. And then we'll move out farther from there. So here we go. 100 yards. 7 mag, factory Core-Lokt ammo. See how she does. Woo! That's brisk. It's actually not too bad, really. Definitely a little bit of recoil with that, though. That full tilt factory load is shooting. I'm looking at my mil dot reticle on this Bushnell engaged scope, and it is exactly 4 3/4 inches high. Typically, this gun shoots 3 inches high at 100 yards, which equates to about an inch high or so at 200 and a little bit low at 300, and then about a foot low at 400. So we are just a hair higher than normal. But knowing what we know there, yep, good round primer. No pressure sign really or anything like that we'll be worried about. So our left and right is like perfect. I'm going to put another one on at 100, see what it does. Yeah, right beside it. Oh golly. Just about an inch down to the left. All right, let's move out to 200. Find this next berm out here real quick. Just parallax a little bit. Oh yeah. Uh-oh. All right, here we go. 200 yards. Make sure I'm looking at the right target, huh? That one is not on paper, so I'm going to assume that that dude is high at 200 yards, since we were way high at 100. So I'm going to make an adjustment. Come down that about 4.5 minutes. That one landed on the paper. We'll shoot a group there at 200. See what it does. Wow. I'm going to put one more there, and if I can put that one in the same spot I just put it, We may just switch to shooting factory ammo. See where our third shot lands. Wowzer. Okay. Believe it or not, at 200 yards, they're not touching that 3-shot group, but they are awfully close. The vertical disbursement looks like it's pretty well nil. And I can tell you that the disbursement there horizontally is me. You know, I'm just shooting a regular hunting rifle. We just got a rear bag, you know, with bipod, and I can tell you that's definitely within the variance of my heartbeat changing the location of the reticle on the center point of the target. So, wow, I'm kind of excited to go down there and look at that. All right, so that dude shot. Trying to see here. That dude. Actually hit 2 minutes high, my main crosshair. At 200. At 300, that should be about dead on. If my mind is calculating right. The barrel gets a little warm on this dude. It's toasty. 7mm flings a little bit of powder through that barrel. Nothing crazy, obviously, you know. Powder capacity is not terribly huge on this thing, but anyway, we're going to shoot a 3-shot group now. At 300 yards, and we'll see what this thing does. Adjust my parallax a little bit. Yep. Okay. Barrel is warming up a little bit, but I'm gonna shoot anyway. It's getting far enough down there, I may not be able to see them bullet holes at 300 yards with this scope, and I've got a little bit of heat mirage coming off my barrel, complicating things. Hard to tell. Hard to tell. Oh, I already got a mag full of whatever you want to call them. Freedom seeds, I've heard people call them. Bullets. All right, that's shot number 2 at 300 yards. Here we go. Shot number 3 at 300 yards. Okay. I may see him down there. We're definitely on paper at 300 yards. Tell you what, we're gonna run down there and check this out. Let's let this barrel cool off a little bit. We'll go down and check them out. We'll go 100, 200, okay. 300 here. So, 100-yard target, obviously hitting high. About, let's see, that's an 11.5-inch piece of paper, so about 5.5, 6 inches high maybe. Let's go 200 yards, okay? Like, don't look at the fact that it wasn't hitting center. I was actually holding low, so because we were hitting so high at 100, my first shot was off the paper, so I had to make an adjustment because this is a completely different load, obviously, than what the gun sighted in for. But man, look at that 3-shot group. I can just about cover with the end of my finger at 200 yards. The old 7 Mac, and we're still rocking out. Factory load, man. Okay, here we go. 300. Woo! So, walking to my targets. Get my steps in every day, trying to stay in a little better shape, get ready for hunting season. And man, I don't know about anybody else, but how's hunting helped you in life? When I was a little kid, my grandfather got me my first BB gun, bow and arrow, pocket knife. From that point on, man, I was bit pretty hard, you know, and wasn't very successful in school. Had some slight physical limitations and slight mental limitations, you know, when I was younger. And I tell you what, there was something that I found success in that I think that God blessed me with at a young age. He blessed me with many things, but hunting was one of them. And I was fortunate enough to grow up in an area where I could go hunt, shoot anytime I wanted. And so that's what I did. So here I am. I'm 40 now, so I guess I've been tinkering this stuff for my whole life, like many of you, and keeps my feet on the ground, you know what I mean? Helps me be a better person every day. I don't shoot every day, but I do try to be a better person every day, and this is part of what I do. So, 300 yards, here we go. We got 2 shots on paper. I'm not too sure what happened here. I don't see anything in that black ring there. Obviously we're shading left, you know what I mean? So maybe I pulled that off the edge of the target. There's a bullet hole there, a couple there. I don't know, you know, or it could have walked up high there. That's what happens, you know. Interesting. 200 yards, they're almost touching. 300 yards, we see some erratic stuff going on. This is something that I think, I'm gonna walk down to 400 yards. This is something that I think it doesn't get touched on quite, you know, a lot. That I've seen a fair amount over the years is, you know, guys will get a load that shoots real good at 100 yards, and you know, and just, you know, stop there. And truthfully, the majority of people hunt. Hey, the majority of the deer I've killed have been under 250 yards. You know what I mean? The vast majority. And so most of the time it doesn't really matter. But if you hunt out west, if you hunt in open areas, if you, you know, even if you just like to shoot a lot, it's something that I have stumbled across, is the fact that I can have super tight groups at 100 yards, sometimes even 200 yards, sometimes 300 yards. But the farther you get, every bullet seems to have a little bit of a limitation, you know what I mean, when it comes to flight patterns and things of that nature. And something I've noticed a lot over the years shooting regular old bullets, these lead core, not necessarily the lead core, but the lead nose, the inconsistency in the nose profile. As you, let's see, yeah. So are we, no, this is 400 yards. We didn't even shoot that. We'll go back and shoot it. So, but what I've noticed is, man, you got to shoot that thing. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like you're going to take a shot at 300, 400 yards possibly, which is really within the realm of most hunters, if you're in a comfortable position, you know, 300 or 400 yards is, I mean, that's a drop in the hat. It's really a chip shot, you know, especially if you're practiced up a little bit. But I would highly encourage you to shoot your stuff beyond 100 yards, beyond 200 yards, beyond 300 yards. We're going to shoot this and all the way out 600 yards as well. And I would shoot it farther, but that's just as far as my home range goes. So we'd have to go somewhere else to shoot farther than that. But so, you know, this is a little bit of a limited test, but when it comes to just normal off-the-shelf ammo, you will probably see some similar trends the farther we move out. So, and I really think most of it just boils down to the inconsistency of the projectile itself, and in the nose profile, and the, you know, just probably jacket consistency, you know, just the consistency and weight of the bullet, you know, all those kinds of things. Maybe even powder charge a little bit, you know, being factory ammo. But this is something that I've noticed a fair amount over the course of time with these types of bullets. You know, if you move to more of a quote unquote match type bullet, just a more consistently produced bullet, I see a lot more consistency show up downrange. So I don't know, what do you guys think? What have you seen in regards to shooting regular old hunting ammo? You know, we've got Remington Core-Lokt here on the bench today. So we're going to shoot it at 400 and 600 now, and we'll see what it does. We're gonna make some adjustments on the scope and get the gun actually dialed, you know, at 200 or 300 yards, since we have some drop data here out to 300 now. And then we will put a couple rounds on at 400, or well, probably more than a couple. We'll shoot a group down there at 400, and then we'll shoot a group down there at 600, and we'll see what happens. Okay, we came back, made an adjustment, zeroed at 200 real quick, okay, and then we are going to bounce out to 400 and 600, okay? So we're going to put 3 rounds on at 4, 3 rounds on at 6, and then we'll go down and take a look at them, okay? My battery's getting low, so I'm going to actually shut this thing off while I shoot. You guys don't need to see me shoot anyway. And then we'll go down there and look at the target. So all right, so we're down here at 600 yards. My actually, I said my battery life's getting a little low too. And I also got a notification that my silly internal storage on my phone is done. So I had to delete a few things on my phone. So I'm gonna make this quick. We skipped the 400 yard target and just came right down to 6. 400 yards was on target. It was shading left about a minute, you know. Nothing to write home about really at 400 yards. But then we come down here at 600 yards, okay? And so this is awesome. Man, I would go hunting with this, okay? And what I like about this is there's not much vertical disbursement in this load at 600 yards, which tells me we're getting, it must be a pretty consistent bullet, and it must be a pretty consistent powder charge, because this wouldn't be the case if one of those two variables is out of place. So also, I don't know if you can see it or not, my finger is exactly like from the end of it to the back of my knuckle right there is 3 inches. So it is just like, it's a tad over 3 inches, or maybe right at 3 inches. So that's like a half-minute group at 600 yards, you know. And the horizontal here, well, like I said, we're fighting some winds, and I was trying to pay attention and get my, you know, put my shots, you know, where they needed to be. I missed the wind call, you know, obviously by a half. The center of that group is, you know, is 3 inches off. So I missed my wind call by half a minute, you know. But first time I ever shot that load too at 600 yards. So I really didn't know how it would act. I really didn't know. I took a shot in the dark on guessing what the BC of it was. It's not very good. It's like 0.4. I just plugged in 0.4, and that must be real close. Used a muzzle velocity of 3,000 feet a second. Got us dead on here. So, I mean, pretty much. I mean, I would go back and adjust that, you know, half minute up, you know, and then I don't think I'd do anything on the wind, because, like I said, we've got some left to right wind, you know, 7 or 8 mile an hour consistently. Got us up to, like, you know, I don't know, sometimes 11, 12 miles an hour here, I think. So anyway, but man, factory ammo out of an old school Remington BDL 700, shot a lot of stuff out of this gun. And this shoots about like the old Sierra Match King, 168 Sierra Match Kings did at 600 yards. And I'm really surprised at this. Factory gun, factory ammo, that we're able to put just, basically cold turkey, put 3 shots on target down here that close together. Man, I don't know. I'm kind of excited about shooting this some more. So we'll look for some more long-term consistency. I know the gun's pretty consistent for a factory gun. It's pretty consistent. It's pretty predictable. But anyway, man, cool stuff, man. That's why I love hunting, love shooting. Every day you learn something. Stay hungry. Don't quit learning. I think that's something that I really enjoy about life, and I've learned to enjoy about life. I didn't, I always wanted to be right about everything, when I was 18, 20 years old. But the more time goes on, the more I've learned to appreciate this whole idea of learning as a process. I don't ever feel like I'm a smart person, but I'm a person willing to learn. And also in the Bible, in 1 Thessalonians, the Bible says God's will for your life is your sanctification, which means a continual process of getting closer to Him. Like every day, waking up and saying, man, well, how can I better myself? How can I get better? Man, what's wrong with that? What a mentality, what a thought about life, what a way to live your life, that every day that we are on this earth, we try to get better and better and better. Instead of just trying to sit around, suck life out of life, and suck life out of sometimes other people, So anyway, man, 600 yards and a little bit of wind with the old 700 BDL factory gun, factory ammo. Just, man, it's getting it done. So anyway, see you next time.